Hello, guys. Welcome, one and all. It's so good to be back here with you guys. Welcome to the show. Welcome to another show. Come on down. The bell has rung. It's time for us to begin, not be gone. It's so good to have you guys. About to make a start. We're about to begin our interview. I see folks coming on. I see you guys coming in. Come on down, come on down, come on down, come on down. And make sure you share the live as soon as you hop on. Keyshawn, I see you. Keyshawn says I'm locked in. Yes, yes. Oh, your mosquito bite me on my foot. And let me tell you, that thing is just itchy. Oh my God. Welcome, guys. Welcome, everyone. This is exclusive interview, and I am your host, Jael Joseph. I'm going to be keeping you company for the next hour, thereabout. We'll see how long. We'll see how much la power my guest has. It's usually them. They control the narrative. It's their show. I give them as much time as I can, and we're not doing this on no time stamp. So welcome aboard, and it's good to have every single person joining me. Those of you who are on, we are actually streaming on quite a few platforms this evening. So we are on 767 Girls Rock. We are on Black Island Girl. We are on Jael Joseph Live. We're on Jael Joseph. We're on YouTube. That's Jael Joseph. We're on LinkedIn. So good evening. Good evening to you wherever you're tuned in. One of the things I want to encourage you guys, those of you specifically on Facebook, is to hop over to the YouTube link, because Facebook have dirty ways. Facebook has decided that lives only last 1 month. So I encourage folks to hop onto the YouTube, because I'm going to be pushing more of my content on YouTube. And you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. The link is right in the comment section. So you can just subscribe on there. If you want to comment during this, oh, I see somebody popped up. Okay, Aurelie, good evening. So if you want to comment, please ensure that you're commenting on the YouTube link, because that's where I'll be accessing the comments. That is where I will be pulling the comments from. So if you want to comment, you want to share your views, you want to share your highs and your lows, and you want to talk about my guests. I mean, not back talking, because we don't back talk my guests, because I will jump on you like a tata and it'll be the end of you. We don't want that for you. No, we don't want that for you. We want only good things for you, right? So I want to encourage you guys, if you want to comment, to hop over to the YouTube page. I see a few folks coming on to the YouTube page. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming on. Hop over to the YouTube side of things. That's where you get to interact with me. That's where you get to comment. When you comment, that is where I will get to see it. So in just a little bit, I'm going to be kind of like moving my comments over to the YouTube side of things. So I'll only be seeing the YouTube comments. So just letting you all know now, so that you know, I don't want you to comment, because I know a few of you are like my ride or dies. You tune in every single week, and I don't want you to feel some type of way. I see Keith says, so what do you mean so? So let me tell you, Facebook not giving me a patat, not a patat. Okay, and for them to be taking off my thing after 1 month, and they get rid of your videos off their server. So I'm doing my shit on YouTube, where I mean, my stuff has always been on YouTube, but I will be utilizing YouTube more, and that's what I do for a living, yo. So we got to make it work, right? We got to make it work. So I just want to say thank you to my sponsors, the sponsors of this show who make this possible. I want to say thank you very much. This month, we got the National Cooperative Credit Union on board with us. Thank you very much to the NCCU. They've been having quite a few activities, including their radio call, the Member Share Madness, Join and Win. There's Loan Education Day. They've had quite a few events going on during the month of March. They called it the Community Forecast. for the entire month of March. So I want to encourage you guys to participate. I know they had the branch wellness at La Plaine and the St. David's branch, which I got to see online. So the folks out there in La Plaine got to interact with the members, with the staff, as well as other members within the La Plaine community. So I want to say thank you very much to the NCCU for their support. I also want to say thank you very much to Astafans, Right Place, Right Price. Astafans has a wide range of things from groceries to clothing. And that's just in Roseville. You can also go to their location in Canfield, where there's the hardware, there's the lumber. They do vehicles. I mean, that's the funds, right place, right price, right? I want to say thank you very much to my sponsors. Um, I'm ready for my guests. I don't know about you. I'm ready for my guests. Um, Kids Queen Show lives will be deleted from Facebook, but you can see them on YouTube. So you can, because I always stream on YouTube. I've always streamed on YouTube. It's just that I didn't actively promote it. So I use YouTube almost like it was my storage, which was probably not a good strategy, but it was just easier for me. I was building my Facebook following. It was easier for me to do it that way, and as a result, you can view all of the past shows. You can view every single show I've had. You can actually go over to YouTube and see it. And I've created playlists for different shows. So the Queen Show, the Queen's Quest, there's actually a playlist for Queen's Quest. You can go on. You can watch all of the I say me, my assistant. Listen, my assistant has done that. And he's been really working to get everything organized so that when we eventually make the move to YouTube, when I say make the move, we'll still be on Facebook, but I will not be promoting heavily on Facebook. All right. So I just want you guys to understand that. And in understanding that, to support that by moving over and viewing the show on YouTube. So if you hop over to the YouTube, that is my channel is actually pinned. So you can just click on the link and it'll take you directly to the YouTube page and you can view the show from there. Sounds like a plan, right? Okay, so I made it very easy for y'all. Trust me, it's going to be easy. It's going to be a breeze. You'll get playlists. You get to see the lives. You get to enjoy them, watch them all over again. You get to laugh. You get to comment. You got to watch them when you're doing your laundry. You don't have to worry about looking for them. You can just type in the name and you will find it. It's going to be easy, all right? So don't you worry. All right, somebody says, yay. I like to hear. Oh, I love the sound of that. I love that. I love that for you. I love that for you. All right, guys. So we have a guest coming up. Crandall is here, aka Cranberry is joining us. So we're gonna be chatting with Cranberry. But I feel like I almost forgot something. No, I didn't forget something. I am going to take a short break because I need to get my water. I need to take a short break. And when we come back, we're going to speak to Crandall. You guys ready? You guys ready for that? You guys ready for Crandall? I'm ready for Crandall. Listen, I am so ready for Crandall. Crandall's been trying to get me on her show, and I beat her to it. She laughing. I beat her to it. I'm like, you come on my show first. She's been trying to get me on her show. And see how I just slide in like a sleek tetchin. I just get her on my show. Yeah, so we're gonna take she gonna throw me maybe when she come back, yeah? We're gonna take a short break. When we come back, we're gonna join by Crandall, aka Cranberry, who's in the house, who's gonna be talking to us in just a little bit. Stay tuned.
NCCU, your community financial partner, brings to you Beyond the Mortgage.
Affordable rates, affordable price, NCCU, everything nice. Go do a course, go take a trip. Beyond the Mortgage 246. You take the mortgage already, to make your pocket go empty. Beyond the Mortgage, NCCU will keep you steady. You need to buy a new fridge, you want to purchase purchase a city, get rid of medical bills and invest in the green energy. Beyond the mortgage, beyond the mortgage, beyond the mortgage. Everything nice, beyond the mortgage, beyond the mortgage, beyond the mortgage. And CCU for life. 246, yes, 246. Wow, 246.
Beyond the mortgage, 2% savings, 4% retirement solutions, loans available at 6%, and our special BTM line of credit. Terms and conditions apply.
All right. Welcome back. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. We're ready to get this show on the road. Don't forget to follow and subscribe if you've not done so yet. Don't forget to head over to the YouTube and subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow along on the YouTube channel because that's where I'll be pulling all of the comments here this evening. We're getting ready for Cranberry. Cranberry's in the house. Um, I'm excited to talk to her. I'm excited to hear her story, and I hope you guys are ready as well. So make some noise and welcome to the show for the very first time. Those of you who are on my YouTube right now, send me some hearts so I can know that you're there. My YouTubers, send me some hearts, drop some hearts on me, my YouTubers, so I can know that you're locked in. I appreciate that. Drop the hearts. Yes, Tara, I see you. I see you. I see you. I love that. Love that. Thank you, Tara. Thank you. Send me some hearts. Let me know that you're locked in. And we're going to get started with my guest. I've known Cranberry for quite some time, but we're getting to know her tonight. Let's welcome to the show for the very first time, Cranberry.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
I'm great.
See, I take you before you take me.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm like, I got a message and I'm like, what? The guy said, this is Jael's assistant, and we want to know if you're available to come on the show on March 26th. I know it's late notice, but blah
Because
blah
I
blah.
know you had me. I know you were macking me.
This girl.
I don't think I come on her show before she go on my show. I'm gonna beat her to it. I gotta beat her to it. So we were talking about like because we very rarely do we invite people to the show. Like this is not something that happens where we invite people to the show. Whenever we invite people, it's like okay, it's like somebody that I really want to talk to, like so I
Yeah,
invite them or so I don't. It's not something that I practice because we booked the show a month in advance because I think he must have reached out to you like since last month, right?
no,
No, he didn't reach out to you last month. It was recent because
like a week ago.
yeah. So here's what it is, right? So here's what it is. So originally, I was not going to have a show this week, so I had blocked off my calendar this week because I was supposed to be traveling this week, and my plans changed, right? So he was like, "Well, we have so and so, so because you were actually on for next month." We have so and so, so and so, so and so. And I was like, yeah, just call them up and bring them on. If they can come on, just bring them on. So that is why, because I was like, we normally don't, but we like to have like a plan. So it's like in my mind, I like to try and have like a balanced group of people because you don't want to have the same person every single show or the same type of person. When I say the same type of, nobody's the same, but the same person in the same industry. You want to mix it up. You want to have somebody in sports. You want to have somebody in entertainment. You want to mix it up a little bit. You want to have somebody who's interested in art. You might have foreign an engineer, foreign a lawyer. Probably have a doctor series. So that's what we normally do. From one influencer to another, and because this week got opened up because my plans changed, I was like, because when he gave me the list we had preempt for April, I was like, yeah, bump Cranberry up because I have a feeling that heifer's gonna try and get me on her show because she spoke to me. She spoke to me since last year,
Last
and
year.
I've been ducking her. I've been ducking her because she have to go on my show before I go on her show, right? And that is exactly how this happened. Welcome to the show, Crandall.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
We're gonna get to know all about you.
Yeah, ask and you'll receive answers.
Way, Papa, nothing's off the table.
Uh, ask and we'll see.
Well, Crandall, like people probably don't know, but we're related.
Yes, we are.
So our grandparents, or my great grandmother and your great grandmother, were two sisters. So
Mhm.
that's my Kalinago roots right there. Good Hope Massive.
Yeah,
That's my roots. I didn't know you growing up, but my sisters knew you because I was already gone.
yeah.
Um, because you're closer in age to my sisters, and they knew you. And I remember when I first met, I think it was you. I met you. I met Kishan. I
Mhm.
met Gemma. I met all of these things. Everybody was like, "Oh, my sisters were like, oh, they were your cousin." I'm like, really? Like how we related? And they're like, from Good Hope, Auntie Camila's great grandchildren and stuff. I was like, oh, really? So that was very interesting to know that we were related. So every chance I get to support you, I love to support you. I love what you do. I love that you go hard for your business and you're doing your little your sweet sips.
Swift.
Sweet. Girl, you want that tongue twister? Mukha sa sa. Who can even rebrand no salawi? But that sweep. That is, it's definitely a tongue twister. You are also a mixologist, which where the swift sips comes about.
Yeah.
You do, I know you promote, working online and
Mhm.
having your own jam online. You have your own show, your own talk show called Pale. You also you do influencer work.
Yeah.
And you also recently, I see you were part of doing a documentary for TK International. So
Yeah.
your hands, I think it's in the genes for our hands.
Yes, yes,
We're
yes.
like we're like octopuses, our hands.
We in everything.
Boy, we just have to stay busy and stay ready and stay booked. But share with us a little bit about, because I'm sure people, I say Good Hope, but that's not where you were born and raised. So I mean that's where our great grandparents are from,
Mhm.
but you are not you are not directly from Good Hope. So tell us a little bit about you, where you grew up. Um, and what was life like growing up where you grew up?
Okay. Well, my early days were actually in Good Hope. Um, well, yeah, my early days was in Good Hope, and then my mom got married, and she got married to someone from Casabras. So we moved to Casabras, and I grew up in Casabras. Went to took all my schooling in Casabras, and then I only came to school for Roseau at college.
Wow.
Um, yeah,
So you pretty much grew up in
country
Casa.
life, country life. Yes, I grew
What
up
is,
in
'cause
Casabras.
I don't really know Casa Bruce. Like I cannot say I know Casa Bruce. Like I've driven through Casa Bruce and I know the longest road in Dominica is in Casa Bruce. And
That's true.
as that stretch, and that's as much as I know where Casa Bruce is concerned. So tell us a little bit about Casa Bruce. Like if somebody had to, because I'm putting your influencer gears to work. Um, what would people need to know about Casa Bruce?
I mean, Casablanca is a very beautiful community. We have the St. David's Bay that has two beautiful islets. And if you visit the Islet View restaurant, you will get an amazing view of those islets. It's a very beautiful community. I didn't have any problem growing up in Casablanca. It was good. It was a good life. I grew up with all my cousins around me. Initially I was the only girl, so I was doing a lot of boy things because all my
Really?
all my cousins were boys. And we were kind of, at one point we were all living in like the same house and stuff. Because my mom and her sister got married to two brothers, so it's like we
Was
just,
it like a joint wedding or something?
no, it wasn't a joint wedding, but they got married to two brothers. And so me and my cousins, we were always together. My cousins were like, my first friends, and they were all boys. So I was a footballer, a cricketer, a climber, only boy things. And people would not believe it, but back in the day, like when I was a lot younger, my thing was always fitted caps, sneakers, jeans with a t-shirt or a vest, like real kind of tomboy dressing, not girly girl at all. And no, a girly girl.
You transformed. You transformed. I guess we do grow up. So
Yep.
when did you no longer become the only girl? Like when did that change?
Well, my aunt had a daughter, my cousin Clydel. She's a lot younger than me. She's in her 20s now, and I'm bordering on 40. So that changed when she came around, and she was like my little doll. And for a while, it was just me and her as the two girls. Then my mom had my sister, so it was us three girls
Wow.
in the cousin group, and the cousin group full of boys.
How many boys?
So there's my cousin Macpherson, who's in St. Martin. There's Cernel, there's Dwayne, there's Keyshawn, there's Asher, there's Sean. So that's six boys growing up, and just I one girl until my cousin came along.
Wow. Wow, you outnumbered.
Yeah.
You're definitely outnumbered. So
Yeah.
you said you took all your schooling in Castlebrus. What was school days like? What were you like as a student in primary school?
Well, I was always in school. I was always the smallest person. I'm still small. I'm still short. I was always the smallest person in primary school. I was a bit more timid and more shy. Um, but I was never a troublesome child, so I didn't used to get demerits and detention and those kind of things. But primary school life was really good. I loved English, so I guess that's why I got into the field that I'm in. English was one of my favorite subjects, and social studies. So yeah, Casper Secondary was great. Great. I had fun times there. I started playing netball when I was in primary school. I
What
was
position you played?
at center.
Me,
Imagine this that short little girl,
I played center
the
too.
whole court.
I
Yeah.
played center too, and I played netball. So that's wonderful.
Yeah, when I was in primary school, that's when we started playing netball. So I used to play for both the under 14 and the under 16 team. Like, yeah, but it was good times.
Wow. So what sort of activities besides netball did you absolutely enjoy? Like you mentioned netball, obviously, and I mean you spoke about your childhood liking to climb and all of these things. But what other activities did you get involved in besides netball?
Well, besides netball, when I got to high school, I got into the debate team. I was a member of the UNESCO club. I was a member of the school choir. So I
You
was
can sing?
gathering I used to be able to sing.
What happened? Can't take your tongue?
Hmm. Everybody in our family can sing. I think it's a gift. Keyshawn was on Stack West and all
Mm-hmm.
that. Yeah.
Surinel is a very good singer as well.
Yep.
It's funny, I met them before I met you. I knew Keyshawn like Q Talent Search days.
Well, w- we you met them in person before you met me, but
Yes,
we had
that's
spoken
true.
already on
Yeah.
social media because Aurel told you about me, and then you sent me a message. I think it was via Facebook, and then we chatted on Facebook. And then when you came to Dominique and you started working at Q95, I believe it was, that's when we met in person.
Yes, yes. I remember that. I remember that you were with Tempo at that time.
Yeah.
I remember that. Okay, it's all coming back to me now. So you you got involved in debates, you got involved in all of these things, singing. Um, where did that entrepreneurship or entrepreneurial and creative mind come about? Like when did you start realizing? Because a lot of times when growing up in Dominica, at least, you're told that there's certain things that you should consider where your future is concerned, right?
Right.
So when you're thinking about your future, what were you thinking about, that you want to do? Say, when I grow up, I want to be a nurse. What did you always want to be?
When I was younger, I always said that I wanted to be a psychologist. So when I went to college, that's what I actually did, my associate's degree in psychology. That was my major. But that wasn't my calling. But you asked when I realized that I was creative, at a very young age. Like, when I was in high school, my aunt used to have a preschool, and every year for her graduation, I was the one creating the certificates for her students. I was typing people's SBAs. I was doing a bunch of stuff from a very young age. So it's like when I got older and I started, doing the regular smegular jobs, I figured to myself, like, since I was young, I've been doing this for people and doing this sort of things for people for free. Like, I need to monetize my skills. So,
Monetizing was not even a word yet.
exactly, it wasn't even a word yet, but now it is. But yeah, I just figured, why not? Why should I just stick to one path when I could do multiple things? So even saying that, at one point I taught at secondary school. I taught at my alma mater. I taught English, NT science, and agricultural science for a while. Um, I worked at call center. I worked at Tempo Networks. Actually, Tempo was my first real like remote job. I know you're going to get into like the remote talk, but I'll just stick that in there and let you continue with your questions.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about, who would you consider to be people that really influence your journey? Because um, unless you just woke up one morning and said, "Hey."
Well, my first job out of college was as a news reporter and presenter at SAT. So I would say, like, I've always loved the media, but I didn't know if like I would really want to like pursue that until I started working at SAT. I loved it. I loved working at SAT. I loved reading the news, and while I was at SAT, um I had to be a jack of all trades, right? So I had to learn to edit the news. I had to learn to use the camera and all that stuff. So, like how a reporter would be going out because it's TV, and you have your cameraman. Well, there were times when I was my own camera woman. And then I would have to come back to the newsroom and edit all my stuff. And I liked it. I enjoyed it. So that is where um my passion for media began. I was always a good writer, so me writing my stories for the news was never a problem. At one point I used to do entertainment news for partydominica.com, doing reviews from events and stuff like that. So and my job at SAT, I finished school very, very early. So my job at SAT was when I was 16. So
Wow.
so I've been in the media for a very, very, very long time.
Wow. So you got into that. When did you end up? How did you end up with Temple? Like, was that how did?
Um, so when I worked at SAT, obviously, I used to cover Creole Festival, and with Party Dominica as well, I used to cover Creole Festival. And I think there was this one year that um the festival's committee invited the CEO and his assistants and stuff to Dominica to observe the festival. And me, I like to network because your network is your net worth.
Right.
So I introduced myself to the CEO and his assistant and whatever, and they basically asked me about stuff to do in Dominica. I hooked them up with my boy Shy Guy to take them out and stuff. And we just continued speaking, and then they asked me to be their representative in Dominica, and that's just how that happened.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. That was easy peasy.
easy peasy.
That is beautiful. I love to hear that. I love that for you. And I love what you said about your network being your net worth, because that is so, so important. And people don't really understand, especially when you are naturally a networker, how much of your net worth, or how much your net worth is, because you have all of these people that you could just reach out to, and you can, there's always somebody. And I tell people, I know somebody for everything, you
Yeah,
know, and it's so important to have these kinds of people, and not just have them when you need something, but keep them very active in your life,
yeah.
and what's going on. Like,
Because you never know when they could know about an opportunity that would be perfect for you.
yeah, it's just like I met this girl through an event we did in New York, and she we end up staying in touch and stuff, and she ended up writing a story on my cousin, and she was just like, oh my god, Jay, like we were just meant to meet, like every way, like I can't get rid of you, like. And 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 she's reached out to me to get links. I've reached out to her to be connected, and even with, like, she writes for a lot of major magazines in New York. And I was telling her, hey, I need you to write a couple things. She's like, whatever, anything for you, like. So I love the fact that you believe in your network being your net worth, because a lot of people some people can be very standoffish when they meet people, and it's like, who does this person think they are? They're
Yeah.
the CEO of so and so. Like, I'm not. What, like, you want a free ride? Like what you want? Some people can be like that. But look at how you were able to hook up somebody with tours. You connected them, and I know Shy Guy made sure that they had a bell of a time,
And yes.
right?
And that was long before Shy Guy
Shy Guy,
Dominicans. That was long before that.
right? So that's wonderful. I love that, and even in that, you connected them with somebody else,
Yeah.
who could have given them the experience that they were looking for. So I love to hear that. I love to hear the sound of that. Um, you obviously have had a long life. Like, I mean, you're not young. You're older, right? I mean, we're still young, because you know what they say about our side of the family. We don't age. We have some good genes. But would you say that you encountered any challenges in your journey that that kind of shaped you to be the woman that you are today?
I mean, there's all in anything you do, there's always going to be challenges. Nothing is smooth sailing. So I did encounter a bit of challenges because when I worked with when I, somebody said, wow, 16 years. Well, when I worked with Tempo, I didn't just stay as, the country representative. Eventually, I worked with Tempo for a number of years to the point that I was the director of acquisitions. I was the one, putting all the videos and programming everything that was airing on the channel. And that it was a challenging role, but I enjoyed it. And at some point, I felt like I was doing so many things, but at the end of the day, I like to feel like I thrive under pressure. So it's like, even if like something would crash, right? in the middle of the night, and I will have to get up because these people all the way in India would be calling my phone like something is wrong, and I have to get up my computer, get in the system, and fix that to make sure the channel is up and running properly.
Mhm.
So in all walks of life you face challenges, but it's how you approach the challenge. If you stay as a pessimist, then you're gonna be down. If you're an optimist, then you will make the best of whatever the situation is. So I think that throughout my journey, I've learned a lot of lessons, and a lot of things have carved me into the woman that I am today.
Where did you get the name Cranberry?
Okay, so since I was a little girl, right? Whenever somebody asks me my name, because everybody wants to know my name, I'm a very small girl, very pretty, very long hair. When they ask my name, I would say Crandall. And people, for some reason, had a problem saying Crandall or thought they would not remember Crandall. And because of the cran, they were like, so Crandall, like cranberry juice. So it's best I just call you Cranberry because that's easier to remember. And that is how that name came about. Simple as that. No rocket science, just like that.
So people named you.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Cran from Crandall, Cranberry. Because they figure it's easier for them to just remember Cranberry to call me than for them to attempt to remember Crandall. So
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. Looking back at you back then as a child, would you be surprised by where you are today?
No, no, I don't. Mm-mm. Looking back at myself as a child, I've always been ambitious. So no, I don't. I wouldn't be surprised. And if I were to go back, I wouldn't change anything.
I like that. I like that. I like that. Okay, so throughout your career, I know you've dabbled in quite a few things like you've spoken
Mm-hmm.
of. And obviously, one of those things involved personal branding, and we know a lot of people struggle with personal branding. What would you say is your secret to standing out and just staying true to Cranberry?
Sorry, I just read a comment. I just had to laugh. How do I stay true to myself? I love me. I love my personality. Um, I'm bubbly. I'm friendly, and I don't try to put on a fake persona. So what you see is what you get, and yeah.
The person in my life that are trying to be an ape, I'll put you out. Do not come into my life and disrespect my guests. I will put you out. I will put you out and I will block you and I will delete you. So watch yourself. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. All right.
Mhm.
I say no more. You've been warned. Um yes. So I mean, Crandall, I mean, I really love how you dabble in so many things, and I don't want to just go all over the place, but I can't help but going all over the place because you do so many things. So
Uh-huh.
let's talk about the mixology part of Crandall. Why did you decide that you wanted to go into mixing drinks? Because you talk about media and all of a sudden you over here mixing drinks.
Okay, so at one point, I used to like to go out and drink cocktails. I like cocktails. I like a nice cocktail. So when Andrel, Dominica's top mixologist, he had this bar called Mirrors in Goodwill, and it was new at the time, and I think that was kind of like my first real like experience with cocktails. And my boss from Tempo at the time was in Dominica with some other people, and I decided to take them to Mirrors, and I enjoyed the drinks. Andrew made a drink after tempo and all sorts of stuff. So after they left, I continued going back to his place, bringing my friends to his place, and every time the drink is amazing. So when he moved to certain place, I still used to go there all the time. And then I'm like, you know what? I think I would want to make my own drinks at my home, instead of always having to go to Angel's. So one time, me and him, when they had cat eye, well, not cat eye, what was the name of that place? The
Fusion.
Yes,
Fusion.
they had fusion. So one time, me and him were sitting at the bar at Fusion, and we were talking about cocktails and all that stuff. And I was like, I would like to make my own drinks at my home. Do you do like classes and stuff like that? I would like to attend a class. And he told me he was about to start doing a class at the state college. So if I was interested in doing that, and I'm like, heck yeah. So it was a 3 month course. I went, I did the class, I was the top in class, and it just went from there.
Wow, you've turned this into a business because you've done not only do you mix drinks for yourself at home, but I remember you doing like your own TV thing sponsored by GBA. You were doing you do mixologist event, you do events
Yeah.
as well. Um you've like how did you, because you and your initial goal was to make drinks for yourself.
Yeah.
How did the whole world get involved in that?
So initially it was to make drinks for myself, and then after the class, um, because I topped the class, Angel used to take me on certain gigs with him, so he would give me certain gigs. So I would attend different events and work as a bartender and stuff like that. And then I did a stint at Fort Young after my course as a bartender. And it's like when I after um Maria, I had to moved to Martinique, and I had, oh, thank you to the person that said they love my cocktails. I moved to Martinique, and I had a job as a bartender, and everybody keeps saying, like, they love my drinks, they love my drinks, I'm really great. So when I started in Martinique, I started doing videos where I was creating cocktails. And when I came back to Dominica during COVID time, after that, I just decided, you know what, like, it's I'm skilled at it. So like I tell you, I like to monetize them skills. So that is how I decided to start. Thank you, my cocktails are so good, thank you so much. So that is how, when I came back after I had my daughter, I started doing the videos again. And then I
I
decided,
saw you were pregnant though at one point.
yeah, that's why I say when I had my daughter.
No, because you were pregnant. You didn't have her yet. You were big pregnant. I
Oh
remember.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
You
was
were
big
big pregnant.
pregnant, and
I was just like,
yeah,
you want to stand up there?
I had a show. Because
Yes,
when I came back, I was doing some work with
with Joff.
Digicel. I was doing
Okay.
some work with Digicel,
Okay.
and I told Elias, my good friend Elias. Oh my God, I miss him so much. So me and him had a conversation, because Elias always used to encourage me to do stuff. So me and him had a conversation one time, and I told him, I was thinking of doing, the cocktail show, showing people how to make cocktails and stuff like that, and probably just bring people on to, because I big pregnant, I cannot taste the drinks or anything. Bring people on, to talk about different things, different topics. And I reached out to Joff, and he wanted to come on board. So we filmed the entire show at Fort Young. Every week we had different guests coming on from
Because I
um
was a guest. I was a
yeah,
guest.
you were when we did Diplomatico.
Yes.
Yeah,
That was a really good drink. And
yeah.
you didn't even taste it.
I
You were
couldn't
there before you were
taste
telling us, oh,
it.
I
Be
cannot taste it. I
pregnant.
was like, how you cannot taste it? And how you know you're gonna taste good? Like you just
Yeah, because I'm good. I'm not cocky, yeah. People on the live, so don't think that. But no, I couldn't taste any of the drinks because I was pregnant. But that was the reason for the guests being on the show, so they could taste it and give their honest feedback right on the spot. And the cocktails apparently always hit.
the cocktails were cocktailing. The cocktails were definitely, and we have folks on there, saying that they love you need to make a non-alcoholic one for me. Somebody's saying. I like I always say, I'm pulling the YouTube comments.
Oh, that's my schoolmate. Hi, Nads. But I do post videos with non-alcoholic cocktails. So I think I did a bunch of videos in January that were non-alcoholic drinks that you can make at home. But I'm getting back on my Zoom with posting videos. I was going through a little tough time for the past few months, so I have not really been consistent with posting, but I am going to start back
Good,
posting.
everybody's going for a tough time. Let me tell
Yeah.
you. Some
So
of us are
Nigerian,
winging it, and some of
you,
us are
yeah.
our wing break, and we cannot even wing,
So
right?
Nigerian,
So
you get your non-alcoholics. Somebody else asked, will you be back on YouTube? I used to enjoy your vlogs. Like I said, yes, I will be back.
we're only taking the YouTube comments, though. We're only taking the YouTube
Oh,
comments.
okay. But yes,
So,
I'll
so
be back
if
on
you'd
you.
like to comment, you want to ask questions, do so on YouTube. And I'm the one controlling the comments, Crandall? Not you. You're not calling out my comments. You're not, let me set you straight. You're not calling out my comments.
It's
You're
your
not
fault,
answering
it's your fault,
you're not answering my people's questions. I bring them because when they're throwing fear, I'm not bringing it on, right? I need to manage my comments. Okay. So please head over to the YouTube if you want to comment, if you want to ask questions. Crandall is here. She's gonna be here for a little bit. We're talking about her cocktails. We're talking about and then okay, so you do all of these mixology stuff, and then you decide to develop
Swift
Swifts.
tip, yes. Because I figure
Now you need
in
to rebrand this damn thing. That thing is a tongue twister.
Swift sip, because it's swift, it's a short. So it's a fast sip. That's how the name came about. You
Why
want
you
to
just
know
why
how
you
I
just call
come
it
up
swift
with
shot?
that?
A
Huh?
swift shot. Why it had to be a swift sip? Because
Because it's a
this
sip.
it's a tongue twister. Why did you come up with the swift sip?
Okay, so I know a lot of people love cocktails like me. And I wanted to give people the option to have a cocktail on the go. But I didn't want it to be, because there are other entrepreneurs in this space who does, cocktails. They do syringe shots and pouches and all that kind of stuff. So I wanted to just do something that was swift. So just a little cocktail on the go in a shot bottle. So that's how Swift Sip came about, because I know people love cocktails as much as I do. So I
I
wanted to
think
put,
your WhatsApp is on. Is your WhatsApp on your computer?
yeah, let
Yeah,
me
so
turn
your
it off.
messages are coming through. So it's
Um let me exit WhatsApp on my computer. Yeah, so I wanted to give people the option to have a really great cocktail on the go. So that's how Swift Sip came about.
yes, Swifts. Like I had an opportunity to taste them, and they were really good. I obviously have my favorite, which I spoke about. I did do a review on them. I felt it to be very, innovative. Like nobody else really was doing it like that,
Exactly.
and it was just a cool idea. And you've gotten pouches like you. I think people wanted bigger pouches.
Yes,
You
people wanted longer sips. So I introduced pouches.
Wow, are you still making these, or like is this
Yes,
something that
I'm
you
still
actively
I'm
make?
Yes, I'm still making these. So if anybody on the live was part of ecstasy mass, they were in Pulse experience, or they attended or they were in DA Carnival Hub for their makeup, they would have gotten Swift Sips. Yeah.
Wow, wow, Carnell, you're doing the damn thing. So you're monetizing everything, every skill that you found that you're good at. You're finding a way to monetize it. And somebody might ask, like, why do you feel like that is important?
Um, because why not? if if I have this skill, why not monetize it? Why should I just have it there and hide it for myself when I can let people, you know, experience
Super.
what I can do and make some moolah out of it? Why not? Why the heck not?
Make some moolah out of it. Okay, so that's not all you do. So we've talked about the media a little bit. We haven't even spoken about your shows. We've spoken about, your role at Tempo. We've spoken about your role on TV at SAT. Now we've jumped to the mixology aspect of it, but not just the mixology. We've spoken a little bit about the drinks that you make, because you as you like you call it, you've monetized your drinks. You also do online work.
Hmm.
Let's, because you're constantly promoting your online work, or encouraging other entrepreneurs. You see, and that is something that, when young people reach out to me. So before, I was the type of person that whenever a young person reach out to me, through social media, oh, I need a job, things are hard in Dominica and whatnot, I would tell them, okay, let me see who I can help, how I can help. Let me see. And I was start like calling out people in my network to see if anybody's hiring, anybody has jobs and stuff.
Hmm.
Lately, well, not lately, over the last 2.5 years, when and people slowly just stopped, and I think it was the energy that I was giving off. Like, there's just so many opportunities, not just to work at a business, but there are online opportunities. Like, everybody has a phone. Like,
Hmm.
and let me tell you, almost everybody has a sometimes very expensive phone. Not
Yeah.
even like, not even like anybody got a Nokia, right? Everybody has either a Samsung, or they have iPhone, or now I see people with their Google Pixels or whatever they call them. Like, everybody has a phone. Um, you have been promoting using the online space to generate revenue
Hmm.
for quite some time, and you don't just talk about what you do, because you could just hoard the fact that you do this and
Yeah.
say, I'm telling nobody, I'm just gonna make my money and to hell with everybody. But you constantly try to educate people about how they too can get in on it, because it's a big space
It is.
that people could tap into. So tell us a little bit about the online Cranberry.
Okay, so like I said initially, my first remote position was Temple, because Temple was based in New Jersey. And like I would have my laptop and I'm working from anywhere. I'm with my friends and I'm still working. I could be at a party and I'm still working. Once I have my laptop, I could be in my home in my pajamas and I'm working, and I loved that. I loved the flexibility of not needing to leave my house or being anywhere and being able to work. I loved being able to travel and being able to work. So I enjoyed that flexibility. Now, when I left Tempo and I did all that cocktail stuff, I had a stint at Kyrie FM. But even when I was at Kyrie FM, I still was monetizing my skills and applying to online positions. When I left Kyrie and I was at home, I was doing customer service for this big e-commerce company, and I'm like, yeah, this is my jam. This is what I like. Like, I like being able to do what I want. Like this 9 to 5 thing, I'm not feeling it. It's like it's not for me. So after COVID, when I not COVID, after Maria, when I moved to Martinique, I kept working in the online space. Like I had several different clients that I was working with, and I enjoyed it. And in Martinique, like I only well, at one point I juggled 2 jobs, but it was just because I wanted to. But they don't have like long working hours over there. So sometimes my shift was like 4 hours a day. What else am I gonna do within all that time I have in the day? Make some money. That's what I'm gonna do. So I had several clients that I worked with. I did stuff like booking artists and stuff for events in the BVI. I worked with companies in the US, and then I became executive assistant to the CEO of a real estate company in the US. Um, and with that position, I'm telling you how I got into helping people. with with that position, at some point, I kind of became the operations manager of the entire company. So I had to be hiring people, training them, and all that good stuff. So me being me, friendly and all that, and liking to put people on, when I started having to hire virtual assistants for like simple roles for certain clients, I would reach out to certain people in Dominica that I knew, were kind of struggling when it comes to the job scene. So I would reach out to them, I would get them trained up, I would hire them, and I put a lot of people on to working as virtual assistants in Dominica. And if you guys want to, you can check out the reviews on my business page. It's Savvy Berry Consulting. Yeah, so I put a lot of people on, and then I decided, you know what? I've been putting people on, and they getting paid. I know getting the money out of that. So I decided I decided to create my business called Savvy Berry Consulting, where I started it off as a virtual assistant agency. So I was placing virtual assistants to clients in the US, in the UK. So I've trained and worked with virtual assistants all the way in the Philippines, in Africa, Jamaica, a lot of in Dominica and across the Caribbean. So and I've managed all of these people. So it's like over all that period of years that I've done remote work, like I've honed my skills, I know my stuff. So now I feel like I can help people to,
While helping yourself.
while helping myself, of course. Why not? Yeah. So that's how I decided to go into, because no, for real, if you speak to any of the people or the VAs that I put on in Dominica, they still sing my praises, and some of them still have clients that I put them onto. And so I decided to help other people, and at first I was just giving the information, um
Mhm.
and then I decided, why not?
Wow, this is
So now I coach people and I help them to find remote jobs, or I help them to become virtual assistants, because there's a difference between being a remote worker and a freelancer or a virtual assistant. Because as a virtual assistant or a freelancer, you're your own boss. You can have multiple clients and make as much money as you want. As a remote worker, you're an employee working for a remote company. So sometimes
mm,
you may have a strict um
schedule.
you might have a strict schedule, unlike if you a VA or freelancer, your schedule is more flexible. So there's a distinction between the two, but I help people with both.
And that is Savvy Berry Consulting.
Yep.
Guys, you heard that. Savvy Berry Consulting. So there really is no excuse. I mean, when you have a Crandall, there is no excuse to find work. Whether it is remotely or to be a virtual assistant or whatever of the options that you think might be best suited for you.
Yeah.
Once you have a computer, you good to go.
Yep. And once you're skilled, like I've spoken to a lot of people, and because I do, oh, by the way, if you want to consult, I'm doing free 15-minute consultations. So you guys can hit me up to get the booking link, so we can talk. But
Shameless plug.
I've spoken to a lot of people, right? And there's a lot of people in Dominica who would tell me a lot of times, Crandall, I need a job. I want a remote job. And I would ask them, like, what type of job are you looking for? What are you skilled at? Because that is the first thing you need to know is what do you want to do? What are your skills that you want to monetize? Because why go into something that you know nothing about or you're not passionate about? And I've had people tell me, well, anything. And my thing when you tell me anything is, well, if you're looking for anything, you won't find anything because you're just
Hey, try to
looking,
jump in those gems on only tonight
you
there.
you you just you looking all over, and you're not sure what you're looking for. So you're gonna get frustrated, and you're going to want to stop and just say, like, you know what, forget that. But you have to focus, and I do have resources, so you guys can check out the resources. There are lots of free resources if you're interested in remote work. Take advantage of them. But the first thing that you need to do is to decide, what are you skilled at, what am I really good at, and what am I passionate about. So you see, me, everything I'm doing, I'm passionate about it. So there you go, and you see the amount of things I've been telling you all that I do. So and I do have a remote work preparedness questionnaire, free, so you guys can access that. But you need to focus on the skills that you are good at, and then also list them down. Out of those skills, decide which of these skills you want to zero in on, which you are most passionate about, and then focus on those and apply those to the jobs that you want to do. Because at the end of the day, people like to think, JL, because you say remote work, it is easy, or it might be I just home and I'm not doing anything, or I can do what I want. But no, even remote work has, you have to be disciplined. And if you, it's the same as with a 9 to 5. People wake up and they never want to go to work because they don't like the job. It will be the same with remote work. If you don't like what you're doing, you're not going to want to get up off your bed and go sit on your computer to do the work. So, the first and most important thing is to decide what you're good at and focus on that, so that when you find your dream job, I'm passionate about that. I'm going to do this until I find the next best thing.
Wow. Solid advice. Solid advice according to Tara. Tara says it's a solid, good advice. She is hitting the ball out of the park. I mean, Crandall, I wasn't expecting all that from you. Like, you shocking me. Like, you like signal band, shock them. You shocking me. I mean, I knew it was gonna be a good interview, but I wasn't expecting, I mean, and a lot of the things that you're saying is so valuable to anybody, like it's valuable to anybody, not just anybody looking for remote work, but anybody looking for work.
Mhm.
Like you say, one of the things you said is, if you want to do anything, you will not find anything. you, need- you will not find anything. You need to be your tagline, because that is like, nobody, like, I would not have thought of that. I mean, obviously it's something that you say, people would say, but it is real. Like if
Yep.
you say I want to do, just give me anything to do, anything, you're not gonna find anything, right?
Yep.
And that is such a valid point. And there are a lot of young people around, and out of frustration, they just want to do anything because they feel like they're not able to find work. They're not, and I'm like, to be quite honest, with everything that's going on around the world, like Dominica is the best place to be.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can make money while in Dominica, if you can make us dollars while in Dominica, because a lot of these companies pay in US dollars,
Yep.
right? The exchange for that, you know, is ridiculous. I mean, even if you're making even if you're making $1,000 a month because you're working part-time, which is like very little, that
Yeah.
you would possibly get. Like this is probably on the lower end, right? 1,000 US a month, that is $2,600,
Yeah.
right? I mean, we have some tellers that don't make $2,600 a month,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you need to decide on your own for your own. Like, stop complaining. A lot of people, like, they wait, they blame things like the government, they blame everybody else for them not reaching where they need to reach or for them not being able to do what they need to do. But they always on their phone, they always like you
It's
clearly.
like sometimes people, they have the mentality like they want it to be handed and they don't want to work for it. And that's just not how life is. Anything you you want or you need, you have to work to get it.
Or
So
when they don't get it, they blame everybody else but themselves.
yeah. So even with like finding remote work, like people would say I want a remote job, but if I ask them, well, what have you been doing to try to find a remote job? Have you been applying to positions? No. Have you been looking? No. The job not just
Do
going to
you
come
have
and
a
say look
resume?
me, you know. It's not going to tell you look me, you have to go and look for it. and and people would, they would apply probably to like one job and just wait. It can't be like that. You have to be consistent with applying. And I tell people it's the same as if you were applying for a job in Dominica. You would send several applications all over the place.
Mhm.
You would not just send one application and just sit there and wait. No, you have to be consistent in applying, looking for stuff that suits your skills and upskill. So while you're applying, learn a new skill so that you can have more options open to you. But don't go and learn a skill you don't like, you know. You have to be passionate about what you're doing. And no, I don't gonna and do no more free promo in your show. But if you guys check out my resources, I do have something that I made. I did it. I made it.
You can promote yourself,
I
Crandall.
I
Don't
made
think
it cheap on purpose because um I know that a lot of people have been struggling when it comes to the job field in Dominica because a lot of people got laid off from Clare Harbor.
that.
So I have this platform called the Savvy Berry Tribe, where I make it very easy for people who want to venture into remote work that cannot afford my coaching. It costs 10 US dollars a month. I do all the heavy lifting for you and I look for the jobs that are hiring internationally. So, because a lot of people like to complain, oh, I only see things for US, UK, and Canada. So, I do the heavy lifting, I look for the jobs. So, when you see a job on the platform, you just know you can apply to it because they hire in worldwide or in Latin America, and the Caribbean is listed as located in Latin America. And I also host a webinar every 2 weeks to provide guidance and tips and just to help people out. So if any of you interested, you know, you can check it out.
Guys, share the live. This is good information because
It's
a lot of
only it's only 27 EC dollars a month. That's less than a lunch. So you know, tapping on that if you're serious about getting into remote work, because I share valuable information on the webinars, and on the platform, like if you miss the webinar, the the recording would be on the platform. And I send out resources via email every week to the tribe with, new tips, resume templates, how to optimize your LinkedIn, all that stuff. So yeah.
Wow. Crandall, like I said, I wasn't ready. Cause Kali next week, I wasn't ready. I mean, I knew you were going to. I know you have, and it's a good thing that I know you do all of these things, because if I didn't know, I would probably just ask you like base questions.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit more difficult to interview somebody like you who, because you tap into so many different things, and who's to know what would really be beneficial to my audience. You understand
Right.
what I'm saying? Um, so I felt okay, we need to tap into everything, or try and tap into everything Crandall does, just so we can, because I just had a feeling that you were just going to blow this out of the park, and you are. I mean, people
Thank
are
you.
commenting that this is a real, that like this is, I mean, this is really good information for young people, because I, honest to God, like being in Dominica and hearing people complain. I mean, I'm always in Dominica, but different times I I kind of immerse myself differently into Dominica.
Mhm.
So different on different occasions. So somebody asked me the other day, "Do you live in Dominica?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Like, what did you think? I didn't live in Dominica. They're like, "But you always in Canada." I was like, "Yeah, I live there too." And they're like, "So you live?" I'm like, "Yeah, I live both places." So they're like, "How do you do that?" I'm like, "Well, I go. I'm like Nanny McPhee. When I'm needed, I stay. When I'm wanted, I go.
Yeah.
Right." So I try to kind of zone in on what I need to do, but in so doing, I often run into people who are, they want to know how can they make extra money, or how they can, monetize what they do. People reach out to me for all kinds of things,
Right.
and I'm really impressed with you, Crandall, that you are, because your Savvy Berry business, I saw when you created it, and when you, I mean, I've been following you for a long
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
and
I'm supporting everything.
not just following, because again, two people think, oh, women can't support each other and whatnot, and think, but I'm not somebody who, and that is a misconception. I'm not on social media. Social media is my job. So I do what I need to do and I get off. Right. So I'm often not seeing certain posts or seeing certain things. So sometimes somebody tag me on something, or something somebody we have in common will comment, and then it'll show up on my timeline. And probably when I'm taking a dump, which is when I usually like watch, and I'm being for real. And
Yeah.
that's when you'll see, oh, kind of posted this. Oh, and I will share it, especially if I see, it's something that my audience can benefit from. And I'm not shy, or I don't say, oh, I'm not gonna share this, or Carnell is kind of competing with me, and which we're gonna get into that. Kind of
Mhm.
competing with me, and I'm gonna share this. And actually,
Yeah.
somebody actually asked me once. I had shared something of yours on my status, on my timeline, and somebody direct messaged me, and they're like, "Isn't she like your competition?" And I was like,
No.
"No." And the person was like, I'm like, we support each other, like,
Yeah.
like
Exactly.
we support each other,
And
like.
the thing about it is, like, most people don't know that we're related. So
So that was just like,
there's that.
yes, there's that too, and probably that is an added layer why I would probably be more likely. But you're not the only influencer that I support, that I
No.
share stuff, and they're not related to me, right? So it's
Yeah.
not like, I mean, we can say probably I will share more of your stuff
Yeah.
because of the relation, but I try to be that way with everybody regardless. So I will comment on the people saying, like the other day, Jody posted her classroom thing, and I was on it because I mean, I'm a creative person, so things
Yeah.
come to my mind, and I want to drop on certain things, and some things I want to comment on. And my sister always tell me, "Hand just be scratching, you're not sure," because like I have so much things in my head, that I want to sometimes comment on them. I just leave it. Sometimes I just say, let me just leave that alone and not start no trouble, and none of that. And that brings me kind of into your influencer work, because you're also a social influencer. You do influencer work. You've done influencer work with church. You've done influencer work with digital.
Yeah.
You've done influencer work with quite a few companies. And how did you get into influencer work, and why did you feel like that was a space? Because somebody might say, well, you're not making enough money with all of you just finished tell us that you remote working, and you have a whole business around that. Like, tell us about
Well, I don't think I went into influencer work. It came
it.
to me because remember I've been in media and in the entertainment space. So when I when I was when I was at Tempo, I started posting more on social media, like as a media personality. And when I was at Kyrie, that's when I created the Cranberry fan page. And it's like I just started, showing people what I do um as a media person, as a bartender, and I started vlogging, and then it just happened. It's not like I went for it. That one just came.
But for me, that was intentional. Like, I knew from the time I created my Facebook account in 2000, I believe it was 2006. I created my Facebook account. My goal was to get to 5,000 friends, which was the maximum you could have had at the time. And whatever else would come next, I wanted to expand from that, because I always felt the internet was going to be the way.
Yeah.
When I say the way people make money, the way people communicate, the way, like, I always believe, like, yes, was it yesterday? I was talking to a friend of mine, and we were talking, yeah, it was not yesterday, last weekend. We were talking about, when we lived in Canada, and having to get the scratch telephone cards to call home, and I remember during those times I had high five, and I was like, there's going to become a day when I want to be able to have that day when I can call my mother free of charge. I can just pick up the phone, and I don't have to go to the convenience store to get a scratch card. And I'm ready for it, when it happens, And then I remember when Skype came about, when Skype started, and,
Mhm.
and MSN Messenger, and then there was MySpace, and
Yeah.
I'm old.
I was
And
well.
and then when WhatsApp came about, and
Mhm.
WhatsApp had all of these little restrictions at first, and then it started. Actually, it wasn't in WhatsApp yet. It was
Well, I had I
BlackBerry
had I
Messenger.
had BBM,
BlackBerry
and
Messenger,
when
right?
WhatsApp came about, I did not want to leave my BBM at
Right. I
all.
love I loved BB. I To this day, I always felt it was the best way to communicate, because a lot of people on my WhatsApp, I don't really want them there anymore. And if I had BBM, I would have just,
At the
you
time,
know,
I'm like, I don't want to leave
lost my pin.
everybody my phone number. With BBM, you just have a BBM pin. If I don't answer you, I don't answer you.
Right? And you
But
would not know if I read it. You would not know if I
exactly,
saw it.
with
You don't know.
WhatsApp, everybody have to have your number.
And people get so upset nowadays if you're, because my ticks are up, are open, so I don't block it off where you don't know when I read it, right? So,
Right.
and I deliberately kept it that way, because I feel people when I read a message, I don't care whether or not you I read it or not, because I'm like, I will respond when I can respond. But if you've seen I've read it, there's two things you could do. You could reach out to me and say, "Hey, Jael, did you forget me?"
Mhm.
Because chances are I read it while I was driving, and I probably didn't get a chance to respond. Or chances are I probably typed a response and forgot to hit send,
That happened to
right?
me so
Which
many
happens
times.
so many times, right? I forgot to hit send because I get distracted, or a call comes in, and you didn't get a chance to hit send. And when you're on the next call, you're onto a next thought and you forget, right? But I don't read a message and deliberately not answer people. And people get so upset. People like be messaging and say, "Oh, she left me on red." Like they have like a whole thing for it. And I'm just
The
like, bro,
last time I check is my phone.
if you want to get so personal, that is on you. So we're talking about, the whole social media thing, and I kind of saw, I kind of had foresight that social media was going to be a thing. And I remember being sitting down at Q95 and saying, I am going to get my page. I remember when I converted actually the second that became available, converting your profile page to your to a business page. I was probably one of the first people because they had so many glitches. They were contacting me to find out if things were working for me. Now you can even get Facebook to talk to them for nothing, right? But those days they would be like, is this working properly? We found we had this error. This is not working properly. So we just want to make sure it's working properly for you, and all of these different things, you know, were going on in the Facebook world. And then there are other social media platforms that were popping up, Instagram and all of the other likes. So I
Mhm.
always knew I wanted to be in that space because I wanted to continue to communicate. I wanted to continue to do media work, but I wanted to be in complete control of what I do.
Mhm.
Right. And being in complete control of what I do gave me autonomy to my business, right?
Mhm.
And that was my intent. For you, it was not like you said, it kind of came to
Yeah,
you.
it came because when I worked with Tempo, I was also a host. So I've always just been in the media. I've been in the media for almost 20 years now. So um while I was working at Kyrie, I decided that I wanted to start another a show. So I worked with Chad Ambo, and I was doing a show where I would, interview different people, and we would go to events, and I would just I at that time I used to post those episodes on my Facebook page. And then when I left Dominica to go to Martinique, I'm like, I still like my media stuff. So I started doing like vlogs in Martinique. And then when I came back to Dominica. I was always coming and going. But I came back to Dominica. I had a YouTube channel already, but I wasn't taking it serious. I was barely posting on there, but I came back for a Creole festival, and I decided I'm going to do content. And I did my content when I went back to Martinique. I'm like, you know what? Cranberry TV one time. And that's how that happened. So I kept doing entertainment stuff, and I like my media. I like talking to people, so I like doing my interviews. So I just ended up, doing my interviews again and doing stuff again. And then, brands liking what they see. So they're reaching out. And I like what I do. So it's just,
And that
that's
is so important. All of the things that you do, one of the things that is prevalent in everything that you do is passion.
yeah.
you know you're passionate about, and a lot of times people don't understand why people do so many things. Because if you're talented at so many things and you're passionate about so many things, why can't you not do so many things? you should,
Exactly.
you should be allowed to do as many things as you want. And for someone, I know for me, I can talk for myself and I don't know for you, I get bored very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And having multiple streams of income allows me to not get bored by any work that I'm doing, because I will be editing something now, and it just tie me up a little bit and I say, I tell you that I'm gonna write an article for something else. And then I probably halfway in it and I have writer's block and I'm like, to hell with that. I'm gonna go and do an ad for this company, and I just go. And sometimes in a day, like I make a list of the things that I have to do, and in the list is never making sense. It never makes sense because it's all different types of things to
Yeah.
do. So I really respect your hustle because I understand your hustle, because your hustle is not driven by just money, because obviously you want to make money,
Mm.
but you utilize you've incorporated your passions
Yeah.
into you making money, and that makes it so much easier and so effortless, because now you're just doing things that you
That I
absolutely
like.
love.
that I like
right?
too.
That you absolutely love. And I'm interested to know, what's one lesson you wish more people understood about success? Because people may look at you as being successful. I know people look at me all the time, oh, she's so successful,
Yeah,
and they don't know half of it. They don't know half of what your guy is or your struggle is.
that.
But
So
what's one?
I think one thing that people should learn is that with success comes a lot of hard work. So um I didn't just stay so and just be doing all those things. I had to, for me to even be able to tell people about remote work, I had trials and failures. I didn't just apply to one job and I just get it one time. I had to stay consistent with applying. I had to upskill, obviously in things I like. So you'll not see me looking for no sales job or them kind of thing. That's not my field. so, so it's being consistent.
Oops, I think we lost Crandall. We lost Crandall for a second, guys. Hopefully we can get her back on. Yes, she's back. She's back. We lost you for a second.
Okay, nothing in life comes easy. You have to work towards your goals. So yeah, that's the lesson I would like people.
Work, y'all hear that? Work towards your goals. Um, you know, who would you say, Crandall, are some of the people who or some of your biggest inspiration, and how have these people shaped who you are today?
Um, One of my biggest inspirations is my daughter. Well, my biggest inspiration is my daughter because right now everything I do is for my daughter. My life completely changed May 26, 2021, when I had my baby girl. So yeah, she's my inspiration and my motivation. But people who I would say inspire me, my mother. My mother would do anything for me. So my mother is one of my biggest inspirations and motivators as well. Um, and I also have this friend, Jeanette Mitchell. We were at Tempo together. She was the CEO's executive assistant, and she always used to be like motivating me, like, oh, you, and that's where I got my my tagline. She was like, oh, Cranberry, you always so juicy. And I'm like, okay, yeah. So she's one of the people who inspire me, and to this day, she still inspires me. We're always in contact. I put her onto things. She put me onto things. So yeah, networking again. You inspire me as well.
I do.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse my panty strings because it's a moonlight.
Yeah. So I've had in all of the different fields that I dabble in, I have different people that inspire me. So for mixology, Andrel inspires me because he's really amazing at what he does. Like that's the best mixologist in Dominica ever. So yeah.
Wow, that's beautiful, and thank you for even saying that. Cranberry, because I mean, people say that, but they say it sometimes to themselves. Like, or they but saying it out loud is different. So thank you for saying that. Um, you've worked with many brands, many businesses. What would you say has been your favorite collaboration so far?
Um I mean, I love all my collaborations. I wouldn't say that I have a favorite.
You've been smart. That is a smart. That is.
I wouldn't say I have a favorite. I've enjoyed working with everybody that I've worked with. So it's not like I've had like bad experiences with the brands that I've worked with. So that's why I say I don't have a favorite. I just enjoyed working with all of them.
Wow. We cannot leave here tonight without talking about your show, Parley, where you've been highlighting Dominican artists through interview series. First of all, what inspired you to start this project?
Um, because I noticed when I started Pali initially, when I started it, I felt, and the intention wasn't for it to just be like artists and musicians. It was the entire creative industry. What I had noticed as a journalist is that a lot of people, they see the artists, they hear the songs, um, but they don't know anything about these artists. So I felt like enough light wasn't being shed on people in the creative industry, and I wanted to give them a platform for people to know about them, know their story, know their backstory, what inspires them, what motivates them, why they decide to do what they do. So that is why I started the show, and it's been well received, and I always have people reaching out like, Cranberry, when can I do an interview with you? I like what you're doing so much, and how you put in all these artists on, and I like that story, and I never know it's Mr. that was singing that song, and I never know that about that person. So thank you for doing that show. And like, when you get that kind of feedback, it makes you want to keep doing what you're doing. So
Who would you say was your most interesting conversation in terms of the Dominican artists you've interviewed?
nice.
I
in
could.
in the in the recent interviews, nice.
What about nice?
It's like, I didn't expect him to be so shy. So it was, yeah, it's like,
He's
dude,
very giggly. Like
yeah,
he's like,
he's very giggly, and he very like, boy, that's you asking me. And so it was, it's like we had it for me. And for me, most times my interviews to me don't feel like interviews, they just feel like conversations. So me and him, we had like a really good conversation, and I was intrigued, like, he does so many things as well besides just singing and being so high energy on stage. So I enjoyed interviewing him.
wow, wow. Nice is a really cool interview. Like after I interviewed Nice, I had to sit down and have a whole conversation with him after the
Yeah,
fact, you know. Yeah, it was just a very interesting interview.
yeah.
So I do agree. I do agree with you. Obviously, you've built a lot of brands. You've created a lot of things for yourself. What's one piece of advice you wish that every entrepreneur would take seriously?
One piece of advice I would like every entrepreneur to take seriously is work towards your goals. That's the piece of advice. Don't ever stop. Don't let people make you doubt yourself. If you know you have the skill, it doesn't matter how many people are doing the same thing. It doesn't matter. You are you, and you're different, and
And you're definitely
you are
Mhm.
you are your own brand. So don't be discouraged if somebody else is doing something that you're passionate about. You have your own audience, and you make your brand. So yeah,
Mhm.
that's my advice.
Wow, that's fantastic. With all of this, though, you mentioned your daughter being your inspiration. How do you juggle motherhood and your career?
Well, at first it was difficult. It was somewhat difficult because she was very young. So I would have meetings, and she wants to be on my lap, and I have to be telling clients or potential clients, I'm so sorry. I apologize, but she's too young to be in daycare and whatever. So at first it was difficult trying to juggle, but what I did is, I used to schedule out my day, so I would give her time, and I would dedicate my time to work. So I would take breaks when she needed me, and then I would get back to it. And if she fell asleep at night and I had something that I had to finish, I would just get on my laptop, finish it, and that's that. And but now she's older; she's almost 4, so she's in school. So that's a lot easier now.
I think it's important for me to ask you this.
Hmm.
Do you experience mom guilt because you're chasing your dreams?
If I experience what?
Mom guilt,
No.
like feeling guilty about, not giving her enough time
No,
because you're busy
because
doing
she gets
things.
all her time. Nah, I don't feel guilty about that because initially, even before she started school, we went on trips together. So teacher traveling long time, so she's always been with me. And like I said, even at home when I trying to do all the different things that I needed to do, I made sure she had her time. We have our playtime. And now when she comes home from school, she gets all her time. All she does is sit and play in my hair. Like, even if we go in public, I can never keep a decent hairstyle because her hand always in my hair. That's her comfort. So I don't feel guilty because what I'm doing is for her. So yeah.
Yes,
And
I love that.
my one child. So yeah.
You're one piece of child.
Yes.
Guys, those of you on the live, I just want to remind you guys, we are getting close to the end. If you have any questions, make sure you're on the YouTube side of things, so you can ask your questions. I see we have a question already coming in, so make sure you're sending your questions via YouTube. I'm gonna ask Crandall two more questions, and I'm gonna get to probably two more. It might just be one, depending on what she answers. But you guys can start asking your questions, and hopefully we can get to answer, or hopefully Crandall can get to answer some of them. um, so I want to encourage you guys to do so at this time. And don't forget, this show is sponsored by the National Cooperative Credit Union, our community financial partner, and Ask the Fans, right place, right price. What's next for Crandall Regy?
What's next? Just to keep continue doing what I'm doing. Um, Pursuing my passions and bringing my audience good content, the content that they have grown to expect and love from me, and maybe some new flavors for Swift Sips. Yeah,
Yes, yes. I saw you had Triller trying out the
yeah,
Swift sips the other day. I don't know
yeah.
why your tongue doesn't tie saying that. Imagine if you're drunk and you have to say sweet, sweet,
He
sweet,
didn't even say Swift Sips. He said sweet.
sweet, 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 sweet sips. Um, Tara is asking, talking about collaboration. Can you see the two cousins do something together? That is a question from Tara.
You should answer that question.
I don't
I
know.
mean, anything's possible.
Anything is definitely
Anything
possible.
is possible.
I I think we're now working with the same company, and I think they did mention to me at one point, they're like, "Oh, you could do something," and I told them, I was asking them like, "Who are your influencers?" And they told me, and I was like, "Oh, Crandall, I could do something with Crandall." So I mean, not that I cannot with the others, but because of what the role you play in that exact company, it would just be a pretty cool collaboration.
Right.
So that is one of the things. So a lot of folks are saying, that how impressive you are. They're
Thank you.
sending, they're sending love. I see Keyshawn has been on the live.
You.
I'm definitely showing you support. Some people saying that you are very impressive, and just bigging you up for absolutely loving what you do.
Thank
You
you.
mentioned a few places that people could reach out to you. Where can people follow you and stay connected to Crandall?
Okay, so many places. Okay, so for just me, and my personality, that would be Cranberry on Facebook. If you're interested in my cocktail content, it would be Cocktails with Cranberry on Facebook, on Instagram, and on TikTok. On YouTube, it's Cranberry TV. For the remote work side of things, it's Savvy Berry Consulting on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. On TikTok, it's I am Cranberry. On Instagram, it's I am Cranberry as well.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot because I didn't want, because it's like the different brands have a different audience. So I didn't want the people that know me for like just the content to be too bombarded with like the remote work stuff, and they may not be interested in that, or with the cocktail stuff because they may not be interested in that. So like I separate everything.
We get that. We
Yeah.
get that. And finally, uh, Cranberry.
Mm-hmm.
If you could leave the audience with one powerful message. I mean, you've given us so many
Like you
gems.
asked me that already.
No,
Okay, go ahead.
no, I haven't asked you that. We've talked about um, having not doing wanting to do anything will lead you to any wanting not getting anything.
Mm-hmm.
You've spoken about, you've spoken about quite a few things. You've dropped a few gems as it relates to remote work and how to get into remote working. But what would be your message, your final powerful message to the audience?
My final message would be just pursue, like I said, pursue your passions and never give up on your dreams. And don't let anyone discourage you. And be sure that whatever you're pursuing, it's something that you're passionate about, so that you never get bored and you never feel like you don't want to do what you're doing. So pursue your passions.
The question, the previous question was similar. That's why it was very similar.
It
Your
was.
response, your response made me realize that it was
um,
very similar. Crandall, I mean, it was really lovely speaking
I
with you,
didn't even expect us to talk for this long.
and it didn't feel like this long. It's been an
No,
hour and 43 minutes to be exact. I didn't expect it to be, and we started pretty bang on time,
time, yeah.
and the conversation has, and people have stayed through the conversation, and I truly appreciate them for that. I want to give you an opportunity to say anything that you may need to say, you may have left out, or if you want to reach out to your own audience who's viewing here, if there's anything special that you want to share, that's your time.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to be on your platform to talk about myself. Um, and I just want to thank all the people that have been supporting me and following me, who've been with me on my journey from the beginning to now, those who are just coming on. Thank you for supporting, whether you support one of my ventures or all of my ventures. Thank you, because without your support, I would not be who I am today, and my businesses would not flourish without you. So, thank you so much for your support, and I hope that you guys will continue to support me.
Yes, Cranberry. Cranberry, it was a pleasure. Thanks again. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you for
much for
coming.
having me. Thank you so much to everybody who tuned in.
I take
Um,
I take in front. I take in front. I beat you to it, right?
yes,
Cranberry, it was lovely having you.
thank
Um,
you.
and I really want to say thanks again for coming on and sharing a little bit about you. I think we everybody here learned something tonight, and we're gonna go with something that we learned. Like you really you taught me a lot about remote work. A lot, and I know about remote work, but you taught me even more,
Yeah,
about yeah, and all that good stuff. And thanks again for your time,
thank
and
you for
thanks for
having
sharing your expertise. And I want to remind folks to go follow you, especially where business is concerned. If they want you to put them on,
me. Yeah,
at savvyberryconsulting.com, right?
yes,
Savvyberry
Savvy Berry Consulting.
com. Thanks again, Conrad.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a good night, everybody. And thank you, mommy, for watching. I'm glad that you're proud of me. My mother is on here.
Oh,
Alicia Wilshire, that's my mommy.
hi, mommy. Mommy's there. Hi, thanks for being on. All right, bye, Crandall.
Bye.
Guys, that's it. That's it. It was lovely. It was really lovely speaking to Crandall and learning so much. I mean, she really is an octopus. She has her hand in everything, and she does everything because she loves everything. And why not? Why the hell not? Right? And yeah, that was super dope. Um, Thanks again to Crandall for stopping by. Thank you very much to all those of you who tuned in. Those of you on my Facebook, I see a lot of you on the YouTube. You're bopped up on the YouTube, and I want to encourage you guys to go and this video is gonna be gone in a month. You're not going to be able to find it on here in a month if you're looking on Facebook. So I want to encourage you to go over to YouTube, subscribe, turn on notifications so that when I go live or any upcoming interviews that you get notified. Link is right in the comment section so you can do so. It's been a pleasure. Thanks again to my sponsors. I want to say thank you very much to the National Cooperative Credit Union. Thank you very much for your support. Thank you very much to Ask the Fans, Right Place, Right Price for all of their support. And thank you to every single one of you, my staff, my gang. Thank you very much. What Samaj was able to pull this off in such a short space of time. Sometimes I even forget, how things operate, and he really just gets things done. I just want to big him up in a huge way. And thank you guys. Tomorrow we have I think I'm doing a review. I'm doing a review tomorrow evening, and I'm doing another review on Friday morning. I'm going to be doing a review. I'm going to try and do more reviews. If you guys want me to keep doing the reviews, let me know because I want to keep doing them, but only if you want to keep watching them. And the reviews will happen mostly on YouTube. Okay, so by the end of March, I will no longer be doing reviews on Facebook. The YouTubes will happen on YouTube, and I want to encourage you guys to follow, subscribe on the YouTube page, on my YouTube channel, so that you can get the information as it happens, and you can get involved. There's something on my teeth. There's on my teeth. You can get involved in the conversation from early o'clock. If you'd like to show your support to me, you can do so. I've had a few folks, so I want to shout out Roanne, who is on my Patreon. I want to shout out, oh my God, I'm going to remember the names for tomorrow. I'm going to pull out the names for tomorrow, but I want to say thank you very much to those of you who have subscribed to my Patreon. The information on the Patreon is right above here. So if you're on Patreon, that's Patreon. You just type in Jael Joseph. You can find me on Patreon, and you can subscribe there if you want to support my work. You can also do so on mobile banking or as well on PayPal. Patreon is really the easiest way because sometimes I've had people like Maggie. Maggie, thank you very much. I absolutely love you. Thank you very much for your support, for always supporting my shows. I truly appreciate people like you. And if there were 50 people like you, this work would be so much easier because we got to keep the lights on. We got to keep the internet in. And in order to do that, we got to get paid. And subscribing to Patreon, you can subscribe for as low as $5 a month. As low as $5 a month. And you get to support content creator like myself. So I want to say thank you very much for all of those of you who are on my Patreon, who started signing up to my Patreon, and who will continue to still show their support. I truly appreciate and love you all. And thanks again. I'm saying good night. Until next time, we'll be back tomorrow and Friday. Stay tuned. Bye-bye.
NCCU, your community financial partner, brings to you Beyond the Mortgage.
Affordable rates, affordable price. NCCU, everything nice. Go do a course, go take a trip. Beyond the mortgage, 246. You take the mortgage already. To make your pocket go empty. Beyond the mortgage, NCCU will keep you steady. You need to buy a new fridge. You want to purchase a city. Get rid of medical bills and invest in the green energy. Beyond on the mortgage, be on the mortgage, be on the mortgage. Everything nice, be on the mortgage, be on the mortgage, be on the mortgage. And see you for life. 246, yes, 246. Wow, 246.
Beyond the mortgage, 2% savings, 4% retirement solutions, loans available at 6%, and our special BTM line of credit. Terms and conditions apply.